the week headed towards Sunday when the Texans will face off against the Kansas City Chiefs. And what's funny is, for me, I heard Sean mention this earlier in the morning. I'm with him. Mm-hmm. This game, I don't have the same levels of anxiety wrapped up into this game as I thought I might have earlier on in the year. But so there's like a lot more of a feeling of excitement for me than there are any nerves. And I feel like some of that is because it's an opportunity to be like a real statement game for these Texans going in.
Yeah, look, sometimes
just sometimes though.
And Sean, you know, it's not like a scary game in terms of, you know, what the team that you're facing, but I think sometimes beating the uniform matters. I think really, you know, college, pro, you know, you went into Kansas City with all the smoke from the tailgates and the barbecue wafting over the stadium and the crazy fans, and that's Patrick Mahomes standing over there, and that's Travis Kelce, you know, and that's that Chiefs defense and Chris Jones and all that. That's not the same team. That's a team that you can and I believe should beat, but it matters that you're beating that uniform. You know, sometimes that just you go and you know, the Aggies went into South Bend and beat Notre Dame, a really, really good Notre Dame team.
You said that on purpose, didn't you?
It mattered as much to beat that uniform in that building, right? For them to be vaulted into into the stratosphere that they ended up being in. So that's where I am with this. I think it truly is a statement type game. Pardon the cliche, but that's about as big a reason as any. But I think there's other reasons why it could be a good statement. Not just going into Kansas City when it's 20 degrees.
Time and place.
That's the forecast, you know, and going into Kansas City, you know, with a team that's won 4 straight, we could win 5 straight. And the other teams that you're going to face in the postseason, potentially the teams that are leading in the AFC, Buffalo, New England, Denver, cold weather places. And by the way, pretty significant uniforms. You know, it matters to beat the uniform.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you there. And I would like to take a step further because I started the week talking about you were going to hear Reginald Adetula use the words time and place a lot this week. And it's because of that, right? It is Sunday night football. Get ready for Carrie Underwood, right? 7:20 in Kansas City.
That's another part of it.
In December, right? Like there's the prime time aspect of it, but there is the fact that this is – I've always marveled at the fact that the NFL is built for almost like 2 different portions. And we've had a fascination with throwing the football in the league and everything. And what ends up being successful in that portion of the year where it's like the fall and it's still manageable, and what ends up being successful in the winter when you're playing for, you know, real important games.
See their breath.
It's just, it ends up being somewhat different, or at least a little bit of a disconnect. And it's funny that we don't often make that jive. But this is a team for whom expectations are back on the menu. And they want it that way. And if that's the case, like, you're going to need to be able to show that you can play in these moments, especially because also we've talked about this recipe. I want to put it under the circumstances that you might need to use it, right? You might need to do it in this type of weather, in this type of place. So, yeah, I think that this is going to be really fun. But on top of that, the statement also exists is while we look at the Kansas City Chiefs and we say that they are not that same team that has been the boogeyman, one thing that they still do, clutch time is still a thing with them.
Yes, they do.
Right? They've been a lot less lucky this year, though. But Patrick Mahomes literally is far and away the best passer when he has like 4 seconds to throw the football. That means if he is doing that thing where he is escaping and trying to create, he still does that. That's something that I need to see you be capable of shutting down. Right?
Yeah.
Like I think that those are the things that I think still exist for the Texans to show, yeah, we could do this.
And that's another part of it. You know, as much as, you know, we've just been talking about, I don't think they're as good. By the way, programming note, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs at noon with Nick Wright, you know, and at 11:20 we're going to have Andy Kalu as we normally do.
Yes,
so we'll have a lot of that stuff. But I think there is something, even though they may not be as good, they still have the trigger man. And to beat the king, to be the king, you got to beat the king. And that's one of the things you're going to have to do.
Are you quoting The Wire there?
It's before The Wire.
He never seen The Wire.
No, I've seen a little bit. I never was all in, but
Seen a little bit.
He ain't see it.
I just said so. But that first of all, that saying was well before The Wire.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that it originated in the early aughts on The Wire with the
originated
character
in
Omar
2001.
Little. That's right. Omar Little said that, and it became a thing for the entirety of history. And you can't tell me anything different.
Okay.
Or I thought you might go, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man, which is wrestling, which I'm sure our guy Sean would enjoy quite a bit.
Yeah. 5 straight is not a fluke. 5 straight, that's the other thing. I mean, there's so many elements to this that can make a statement. You win 5 straight at this point in the season, and to your point, with that style, because we know if they win, how they're going to win. I mean, it's not going to be 38-30 or something like that. So, playoff type, style that you have in December, 20 degrees against Patrick Mahomes. This is a statement game. I hate to just keep going to the cliche, but it is.
And then, look, I'm leaning on the cliche. This is a cliche segment. Deal with it.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of noise around this team, and I'm sure this team is looking at everybody outside, including us, crazy because y'all buried us, right? Which, hey, lean into that. Put that on the bulletin board, baby. If you need it, go ahead and use it. But I'm sure they're looking at us crazy. But there's been a lot of noise in the national arena looking at this team, particularly the defense, but just generally this team, and looking at them like, hey, y'all looking pretty fine over there. Y'all looking like the girl in the rom-com that was quote unquote ugly, took off her glasses, and all of a sudden y'all beautiful, right? Like that's where the Texans are. But if you could go out and win this game, you put yourself in a circumstance where now not only are you just like a nice pick, you could really go up there and have a home game and give yourself like a real possibility of achieving the goals. Like not just being a pretty and sexy pick to make, but actually setting yourself up for success getting into those playoffs.
And from a national perspective, like we've talked about it, we know it, we're close to this team, we see it better than anybody else. We've talked about what they can be this year. There's a few Dan Orlovskis out there that are starting to say the same thing.
Dan's I feel like Dan
was in love with the
Texans. He was giddy. In fact, I need to go ahead and I'll get that audio for you because he said some stuff that I was like, okay.
He is in love with the Texans. There's a few of those guys on the national scale, but think about this. You just completely destroyed Josh Allen on a national stage on Thursday Night Football, and you back it up with beating a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback, the whole country is going to be saying, all right, all right, this is a team to watch.
And then I think you probably said this with talking about beating the jersey. How much do you lean into the superstitions of primetime gets you? Right? Like how much does that matter to you in seeing this team do it in that particular circumstance?
I think it was a thing. I don't think it's a thing now. You talk about Dan Orlovsky. He's that defense travels. I mean, he's right, and it's a cliche too. Boy, we are really leaning in. But it does travel. And there's no intimidation factor. There's no bright lights factor. You think they're over there saying, "Oh no, Patrick Mahomes." No, they're not. They're not. We might be sometimes, but they're not.
No. I'm so excited for this game. And it's funny because with all the possibilities of the statements, I don't need the statement. Funny enough, like I think that for me, and I imagine for a lot of folks, you look at this team and you go, particularly when you have an elite thing like that defense, like the stormtrooper or the swarm troopers over there, right? Just get into the playoffs, and you can do that without this game. Nah, this game is all like in my brain. This game ain't needed. This game is all like cherry on top.
Oh no, I disagree. I think it's needed. Kansas City has had your number in the regular season and in the postseason, and I don't care if they're not. That's why I say the jersey thing. I don't care. They're not the same team or don't seem to be the same team, and they're not chumps. I mean, they still have a shot at the playoffs. You'll end their shot at the playoffs if you beat them. But no, I disagree. I think it does matter ultimately. You just took them out.
I want to ask about it. I want to ask how it feels on the other side when we talk to Nick at noon today, which I'm sure people are excited for. If for no other reason, then when was the last time you got to talk to Nick with his team in this circumstance? Right, where they are back against the wall.
You talk about somebody who peacocks.
Yeah.
He was pretty much calling that game a practice game. Remember?
Not pretty much.
No, he did.
He was pretty explicit in that.
Yeah.
So I want to hear
this show.
I want to hear what the tone is. I have a feeling that he's not back now.
We gotta find that. He's like, warm up, scrimmage. I think he goes to the scrimmage.
Yeah. So we'll get that. We'll talk to Andy Kalu as we do on Thursdays. Hell, we're still giving away a pair of tickets to the Houston Hoop Showdown that's happening on Saturday. Keep it locked in that 12 o'clock hour for that giveaway as well. Just getting going on a Thursday, but super excited for a lot of reasons. but namely because this Texas team has given us an opportunity to really dream